if you show me yours. Okay.
Should we have left that in?
The long sigh.
The long sound
The
test
long,
sigh.
good sigh.
Little do they know, we never stop creating content over here.
No.
Never.
Bits.
Bits and bits shooting out of your joke 6-shooter. I got
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I understood that metaphor, though no one saw it but me. So
People can imagine.
welcome to this audio medium, a podcast. It's called I'll Show You Mine If You Show Me Yours. I'm one of your hosts, Adam Ganzer.
I'm the other one, Maggie McFish.
That's right. We're already
right.
up to a pretty good time. Pretty good time. How's
Having
the
a ball.
latte? How did it come out this time?
Delicious. Adam makes the most wonderful lattes. If you're not caught up, get caught up.
I've realized, you know what? Maybe I'm getting to be old. I kind of like doing stuff for people.
Ooh.
Is that weird?
No,
I kind of like doing
stuff.
stuff for people. I didn't used to. I didn't used to like helping, but now I'm kind of like, oh, I like helping people with things once in a while, but things that I like to do.
Right.
Not like moving.
Right.
You know?
And
Yeah.
people that you like. I feel like when you're younger, it's a lot of people that you could care less about asking you to do things that you don't want to do.
Do you know how many times when I owned a pickup truck, I had to help people move?
Oh my God.
Thousands.
Well, yes.
I don't know.
Yes. Yes.
Probably not. It's probably like 10, but it was a lot.
It's probably like, do you know me or are we just friends
Or
with my
are
truck?
you a truck?
Yes.
Are you a truck boy?
Yes.
I had a friend who literally the day I got my truck was like, hey, now that you have this truck. And like I scratched it up like the first week I had it.
Oh no.
Yeah. Well, I was in love with this person, so I had to do it.
Sure.
It was Shannon. You know the one.
Yeah.
Real troublemaker.
Yeah.
Real troublemaker. Used me for my truck.
Yeah.
Hope you're listening, Shannon. Used me for my truck. You know you did it.
Listen, ladies
all right.
and MBs, we're guilty.
Oh, don't think men don't use me for my truck. Like, let's not make this gender based at all.
Everyone's
If you
out
have
to
a
get
truck,
you.
everybody's out. Everyone out there pretends to be your friend.
Yes.
If you're out here on the internet and you're like, how do I make friends? Buy a truck.
Yeah.
You will make friends instantly. I promise you.
Wow.
Right?
Well, real friends. Well, not real friends though. You'll just get attention.
I don't know how to help you with real friends.
I don't know how to help you.
Everything's an illusion. I don't know what to tell you. If the movies we watched this week told me nothing else.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mags, let's catch up before we dive into what is certainly the darkest pair of movies we've ever watched
Oh yeah.
for this show.
Sure.
No doubt.
No doubt.
What you been up to? What's been going on in Magsville?
Oh man.
Or as I call it, Maggertown.
This is news to
Try
me.
that one out.
Try that one out.
Okay.
Keep that one in rotation.
Yep.
Maggertown. Good.
No?
No, great. As mayor of Maggertown.
I don't know why. I like stupid versions of your name. It's like my
too.
favorite thing. Okay.
like it.
Sorry. Go ahead. What's been going on over there?
Oh man, I feel like we've seen each other a lot recently. Is this true or is this an illusion?
So Maggie and I had a wedding in San Francisco, and so first of all, we probably spent about a good 3-4 hours together at the wedding, and then we did a 6-hour drive home.
We did,
which is just a lot of friend time at this age.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been that long. It's been like a month or so.
But it's been really fun though. I think it's been a fun month.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Chock full. Yeah. We did 2 weddings in 2 days on different sides. I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell them about that because that was wild.
It was wild. I loved it though. I'm an adrenaline junkie. So, watching 2 wonderful couples, declare
Their love.
and 2 very wonderfully different, but very many similarities.
What you're not including is that also happened in 2 different states.
Yeah.
One night and then the next night.
Yeah.
So you had to travel
From Chicago
overnight.
to Oakland. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was, I couldn't believe it.
Yep. There was one moment, I would say the only time that the trip was tenuous was about at 4 a.m. In Midway. In Chicago, none of the food places were open.
Well, you had another moment too.
Oh, did I?
Which was, you guys got to
the
hotel.
Oh, yeah.
And texted me and were like, well, we're here. And they won't let us have a room for 3 hours.
Yeah.
So you were stuck.
We were stuck.
So eventually, because I was in this wedding, it was Swaim's wedding.
Yeah.
I just let him stay in my hotel.
Yeah, it was so sweet.
It was great.
It was so sweet.
It was great. Maggie played a little bit of Zelda, and then was afraid she was going to ruin it, so she stopped playing it.
I just stopped playing it.
And then Will just crashed in the bed.
Yeah, Will.
Yeah, just out. So yeah, we became roomies that day.
We did. It was fun.
Yeah, we're going to be roomies again pretty soon.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
We're taking another trip.
Yeah, we're taking another trip.
Yeah, it's
that's a Big Bear.
Trip chock full month.
Yeah. This is more trips than I take in a 6-month period, condensed into about 30 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I probably only take like one trip every quarter.
That checks out.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm 40. I haven't earned trips anymore. It's like, like you got to plan your life around a trip at my age.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so that's been fun.
It's been fun.
How are the cats? What's up with cats and your snake?
Cats are great. Snake's great. Snake just shed. So they have a wonderful pearly shiny coat.
I'm glad I missed that.
Yeah.
That snake violates your chastity when it needs to shed.
It does.
Yeah, it really does.
It does.
Okay.
The snake one time, for background info, wrapped themselves around Adam's arm and was undulating and would not let
go. But like fairly hard.
Yeah.
Like it was not like a gentle caress. It was it was trying to rip its skin off, you know?
Yeah.
And so and this went on for a while. Maggie's like, oh, she likes you.
And she won't let go.
I don't think she's a boa. I don't think she's a constrictor or anything.
She is.
See, you didn't. I knew you knew. I knew you knew.
Yeah,
and I was like,
yeah.
is this going to be? I knew you were holding on to details.
Yeah,
wonderful.
She is, but that's just her style.
Maggie, you're also insanely busy now.
I am.
Like you got so much stuff going on in your life now.
That was actually the other half of this month has been fixing my posture. Which
fixing your posture.
Yes.
Your body posture.
Yes.
Oh, we haven't talked about this. What's this mean?
It's been. I just have like terrible. I've always had terrible posture.
Oh.
I don't know why. It's because I started out really tall. You know, I had an early growth spurt, so I was taller than everyone. So then I started to like look down like that. Yeah. And then, I had like a itty bitty titty committee, inherited my grandmother's body physique, not my mother's. So, I just like ended up kind of.
What does that have to do with your posture? I don't understand.
I feel like understand. It affected my posture. Like I feel
you expected bigger breasts and that was going to make your posture different?
Yeah.
Am I not understanding this?
I feel like when I was younger, I felt like if I stood up straight, it felt like I was trying to
make more of your
make
body.
more of my chest. Where I was like, no. I like what I had going on. Don't think otherwise. So actually, I'm going to hunch. It was like, and no one's thinking this, by the way.
You were swerving against a person's opinion that didn't exist.
Yes. Precisely.
This is a thrill. I really enjoy this. Thank you for inviting me into this conversation about it.
You're welcome.
Can I take a very brief tangent?
Yeah.
What does it take for a woman to discuss her breasts with a man? Like, do you think do they have to be good friends? Is that a flirtatious move when you don't know the person, would you say?
Yes. I think.
Always? Mostly always?
I don't know. I've always had really good friends that are men that I have.
And you've been like fine with it.
Yeah.
So it isn't then.
Yeah. I guess for me it's not, but I think for other women it absolutely would be.
Yeah.
But
this has popped up a few times in the last month.
Oh, really?
I'm not going to take away from your story, but that just reminded me of like, oh. I
think for most people it is probably a flirt, but to me it's kind of just talking about like.
It was in the context of trying to. Now I'm taking away from your story. I'm going to come back to it. I'll come back to it.
Okay.
I'll come back to it.
Okay. Not much of anything. And then the other part of that was.
So what are you doing with your body posture? What's happening?
Okay. So it's actually been a really long process. It's been about 9 to 6 months of.
9 to 6 months?
Yes. Of working out, building all my back muscles.
So you're doing rowing motions for the audience.
Yeah. So
is that like with a rowing machine?
Yeah, at the gym. I do all the circuits.
Wow. So you're lifting and stuff now.
Yeah, I'm lifting.
You're swole now.
I'm swole.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've been noticing, but I didn't know we were the kind of friends where I'm like allowed to comment on your body without it being weird.
Oh, no. Yeah.
So we are. Okay, great. Yeah. Wonderful. You've been getting swole. I've been getting
swole.
Okay.
And not even really, purely actually because my back started hurting so bad. I was like, I gotta fix this.
That's cool though. I mean, it's cool that you're fixing it.
Yes. And
that's really cool.
The past week has been amazing. Like my lungs now can like breathe in the full capacity instead
oh my God,
of
your,
like
your mega mags.
Yes. Like the other day I felt like a tingle and I realized it was because like more blood
joy.
was flowing to my brain. It was joy. It was pure joy.
I just realized that, you know, the density of air changes according to its velocity or whatever.
The apple in the tree.
Right. I would love it if you got smarter because of this. That would be amazing. That'd be amazing. It's a Seinfeld episode, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Be amazing.
George Lincoln's
Don't at me with my science equation. It's a joke, bro. Don't at me with that. Okay, so is it fixed or are you in process?
I feel like about 90% there, especially from where I was. Like my shoulder blades were like winged. They were like down here rather than where they're supposed to be. They were like
I didn't notice that.
Fucked up. It wasn't. I didn't really notice it until I started working out, and then suddenly my arms were like click 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 click, and like I was like, whoa! I was way off.
I have noticed that you've been wearing stuff that was more form-fitting to your torso, which I assume was like a confidence thing.
Oh, sure, a little bit. But it was also like it just feels nice to have it like
better.
You know, especially when I was more in transition where my body was like, help me.
Help.
But yeah.
Wonderful for you.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Okay.
It's a nice reminder that change is possible with.
You just have to want it and work at it.
Yeah. Or just hurt enough that it leaves you no choice.
Yeah. Okay. That's fun.
Well,
and you're making a million things.
Yeah.
And, you know, just the busiest lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. You and I are talking about a podcast off mic.
Yeah.
That I feel I'm comfortable putting it out in the world a little bit. Just
I'm very
a little bit. Well, we mentioned it a few times.
Yeah, we have.
We're going to do this David Lynch podcast probably. But it's going to be in a different network, it sounds like.
I think so. Yeah.
So we'll be coming with more information about that.
A little fancy.
I think it is going to be. Yeah, we might video it is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Mood lighting.
I didn't know it was going to be amazing. I didn't realize that. Okay, well, so amazing podcast coming your way about David Lynch in the next, let's say, 6 months.
Yeah.
That seems reasonable, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I'm very excited.
Right. Great.
How have you been, buddy?
I've been good. The wedding was good.
The wedding was great. That was so fun.
I think the next social thing is going to be good.
Yeah.
I recently joined a new church with a new social group.
Oh, how is that?
It's different. It's different.
What kind of different? What flavor of different?
Well, they're a little younger than me. Like this, the way this, yeah. So like the way this church does it is they don't have like age group hangouts, which I was grateful for because at my age in a church, it's like they have 15-year-old kids and stuff. And you're like, I don't know how to relate to you, man.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Right. So, but that means, you know, I'm meeting a lot of people who are like in their early to mid 20s.
Ooh.
To like late. The fact that you even said that, Maggie. The fact that you even said that. So I've been going through a deep angst about like, am I even allowed to see these people as peers? Am I allowed to am I allowed to think any of them are attractive? You know, that whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, compounding that is the fact that the church culture, and this has always been true of it, but I just haven't been in a young church culture in a very long time, is very dating focused.
Oh, interesting.
Very dating focused. And I don't mean that it's like that's all they talk about. I just mean that they are aware of that and care about it. It's a value.
Right. That's what their congregation is going through.
That's one of the, right. So like this community that you and I have been part of for a decade now.
Yeah.
We never talk about dating. Never. It never gets brought up.
Never.
People are doing it. Supposedly.
Yeah. I see them together.
They show up and like, oh, a thing transpired.
Yeah,
I see.
Yeah.
But we never talk about it ever. So like for instance, I remember when that news with Dave and Hannah broke. Yeah. The way Dave told me, and I'm not going to, share all that stuff, but like, it was like, he dropped it after it had been a fact for a while.
Yeah.
And he was like, now somebody needs to know about it.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like, anyway, so like there's been some vetting of I think there's been some vetting of me. I'm not sure.
Probably.
Like there's been the conversations I've been a part of felt very like well orchestrated, but definitely like feeling out.
Right.
Like there was a little bit of feeling out going on. And that's just a new phenomenon for me. New phenomenon. I think it might be too young for me all in general, but
that could be.
I don't know. Well, that was the first remark was like, you wouldn't date a 23-year-old, right? Like, because there's a lot of younger women there. And I think that's a reasonable question.
Right, yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think I would.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think I would.
Those are really, really fucking cool and awesome.
Even if they are.
That was my brain speaking. But
no, that's everyone's brain speaking. Like nobody ever wants to be disqualified.
Right.
That's the thing about dating young that nobody wants to admit to is nobody wants to be disqualified from dating a young person.
Absolutely.
Ever.
Yes.
Like if you were 70 years
As
old,
a previous
Max,
young person, I would
like,
not stand for it.
I don't want to show up to any meeting and be like, you're not hot anymore because how old you are.
Right.
No thanks.
No thanks.
I'm gonna show up
No thanks.
and still be hot. Thank
Yeah.
you. So like that's a
Thank you.
Thank you. So that's like but you have to also acknowledge like that's just not true though.
Right.
Like you know, I mean like I teach people that age now, you know, so it's anyway. So I'm not trying to get into all the grime of it.
Right.
They've all been very nice about it. It's not, but it's a culture thing that I've been like, wow, I have to really like, now I have to think about, do I want to get involved in dating now? Like, is that a part of this? Or did I show up to be friends? Or like, you know, what is the goal here for me?
Right. And also I think it's always very intimidating joining any group, but especially because it's like, you know, every has their different like culture and it's like, okay, well, is this one the right one? Even though, you know.
Well, starting a new group after you're age 30 of any kind is like, it's tough, man.
Yeah.
Because like the one thing you don't want to admit about yourself is I have ways.
Right.
I have ways that I am now.
Yeah.
Like I make lattes and stuff.
Yeah.
And like
my brain is grooved.
Right.
I've got grooves.
I have like wood in my apartment and leather. Like, and that's kind of the whole setup now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, like I'm not living on an IKEA Rent-A-Rex or whatever, you know, like I've made a life in a way.
Solid furniture.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So like, you know, and like, that's a metaphor for so many other things. And like, you know, it's different anyway. So that's been unusual. So I guess these are all kind of middle-aged things now, but I am, so it is what it is. I wrote a noir film. I wrote a noir outline.
Yeah.
That is about going back home, like being forced to move back in with your parents at middle age and in your hometown and like a crime that takes place in that context. And I realized like it's actually about the disappointment. Like it's about disappointment from what you think your life's going to be in high school to what it is when you're in your 40s.
Right.
You know? And I'm like, but I'm kind of into that. I don't know. I kind of like it.
Well, that's a feeling. I mean, especially growing up in the digital age, but like people have very complicated feelings about expressing deep negative emotions that is very human to feel. And also the the reality versus, you know, expectation versus reality is so distorted because we can
because nobody describes for you the experience of success.
Right.
Or the experience of failure.
Right.
Neither of those things get described.
Exactly.
They just get put on a spreadsheet as an objective.
Right.
And success is not an elated feeling like you think it is. It usually is a series of obligations, actually.
Yes. And the more you get, the more you owe to other people. Right. So yes.
I describe I give the outline of my life to younger people now, and they think of what I've done as like, wow. And I'm like, I haven't achieved half of the things I wanted to achieve. You know what I mean? And I have more goals that are much loftier still.
Right.
But like, because success is a thing that, I mean, you know, there's a cliche, but it's a state of mind, right?
Yeah.
Success and failure neither of them are what you think they are.
Right.
And I think that's interesting.
It is.
You know, success is a slow motion thing.
It is.
Actually.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I've been toying around with that in a script that I've been very slowly writing, but I really like the idea of it. I think that one and the farmer one, I think I'm feeling good about both of those.
I feel like sometimes while writing a screenplay, some of them have that like ball that you find. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like, okay,
this is what it's about.
Yeah, this is what it's about. And anything can convalesce around it. You can toss it, whatever. But this is the squishy thing that is very fun to.
Well, and like the meaning of it.
Yeah,
like
the meaning
the
of
pearl in the clam, so to speak. Like one thing I didn't plan at all when I was outlining is that there's a series of sibling relationships. All of them have some form of betrayal in them. You know, and like. And they've all, like, every sibling, one went one way, one went the other way. And like that, I just find that interesting for some reason. Anyway, so that's been going on. And the last thing I'll say, I think this is just for you, Maggie, not even for the audience, is I think I've been a little girl crazy lately.
Great.
That's why I told you, because you love it so much.
I do.
But what I mean by that is I've been misperceiving things. I think I've been misperceived. For instance, you and I had a conversation.
Yeah.
On the way home.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it again, and I realized, like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
There's a few things like that. There's a few things like that I'm like, no, I'm just, no. I've been writing plots in my brain.
Yeah.
So I'm putting that out for you so you can like be like, Adam, remember.
Great.
Because I need people to tell me, remember.
Reality.
Yeah.
Check.
Yeah.
Yourself.
Yeah, that's right. Don't hope too high.
Don't hope too high.
Don't soar so close to the sun.
I wish someone had told me that as a teenager.
Have moderate expectations of your life.
Or none.
Have
zero.
no expectations.
Put them in the dirt.
Dream nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
Dream small or nothing.
Yes.
That's our motto
Blackout,
on this
then wake
podcast. Okay, well, you endured all of that, so I guess it's time for us to thank our producers.
I guess it is.
These are the people who joined the Show Me tier, the Show Me producer tier, which is on the Small Beans Network, if you're interested. One of the benefits that this tier gets is that they are able to pick the topics that we do. We give them a list of topics. Sometimes they send us topics.
Yeah.
And when they send ones that I love, I include them.
Yeah.
And they get to pick the topics, and they get shouted out on the episode as we're about to do right now, starting with Maggie. Pick a spot to start, Mags, and we'll go down from there.
Okay, great. I am going to be super boring and start with the top of
I don't want to remember things.
list.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Robert Mischief.
Robert Mischief.
Dang.
This is a fictional character.
Yeah.
It's like being thanked by Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
and it's very on the
Robert
nose.
Mischief?
Actually, I haven't. No, I'd be like, can you add a little more mystery?
What is he, a mystery doctor? Was he crafting up capers in his laboratory? All right, Dr. Mischief. That's actually we've needed a series antagonist for this this podcast.
Yeah, you're the villain now.
He's building he's refusing to show anybody anything. That's what he's doing.
Wow.
We're showing everybody everything. He shows nothing.
Okay, enemy.
That's
enemy
the antagonist.
#1.
That's right. We've needed it. Yeah, this is all building to an end game. A show me end game. Okay, great. Thanks to Robert Mischief. Thanks to David Bryant.
Thank you, David Bryant.
Thanks to Joshua Tompkins.
Thank you, Joshua Tompkins.
Son of Paul F. Tompkins.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Riding those coattails.
He's wearing a little hat, a little spinning cap.
He has to wear small versions of what his dad does.
Yeah.
Sure, he appreciates being put in that, being described that way.
Yeah, I'll let him know.
I'm not going to meet this person.
Send it to him.
That's just what happened. So, thanks to E10 Campion Mason.
Wow.
I know.
They've won a gold medal before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for something like really obscure.
Curling.
But like, yeah, sure.
Curling.
Yeah.
You ever watch curling?
Yeah.
Everyone's put in an hour on curling, I feel like.
Yeah, I think we all needed to
Turn
figure
it
out what
on.
it was.
Yeah, we're like, come on, this is a bit, right?
Every American's like,
you watch it, you're like, it's mostly brooming. It's like
It's
you're
mostly
sweeping the
brooming.
ice.
yeah,
It's like ice sweeping.
right.
You know?
Yeah.
Seems like a bit that Nintendo would have put in a video game or something.
I think they do include curling in the Mario Sonic Olympic Winter Games.
They did.
Of course they did.
Of course, the Sonic one. Can you imagine? Tails out there curling. He probably got a gold. He's got 2 tails.
Got
Double the
tails.
sweep.
Sweet.
Yep, exactly.
It's not
Thank
fair.
you. Exactly. That's what we were getting to. Thanks to Math Demigod.
Thanks, Math Demigod.
Thanks to Driftless.
Thanks, Driftless.
Driftless refuses to acknowledge that he's a rat in a hat. Refuses to acknowledge
Absolutely.
that. Yeah. He like...
You're a rat in a hat. And he goes, no.
Yeah, they
And runs
texted
away.
me. Not texted. They DM'd me about it. They're like, please don't.
Say that.
Please
I'm a
don't blow up my
rat in a hat.
spot.
Yeah. Please don't.
Please don't do it.
Please don't say that.
That's right. Thanks to Evan Fineout.
Thank you, Evan
I
Fineout.
feel like I saw a headshot for a person named Evan Fineout.
That sounds about right.
Just smiling like the dazzling sun. You've seen those smiles. You're like, is that how white can your teeth get?
Oh God.
Right?
Yeah.
Evan Fineout's
Like,
got...
stop it.
Evan Fineout cannot go to blacklight parties because if he smiles, he's
We're
burning.
like,
He's burning retinas.
Yeah. Who
Whoa,
brought
man.
the disco ball in here?
Yeah. Whoa, man. I'm not on enough gummies to enjoy that, bro.
Wow. Just as pearly whites.
Right. He's got lights like the movie we just watched, Enter the Void.
Oh my God.
Enter the Void
Speaking
lights
of, whew.
for his teeth. Anyway, you want to thank the next person?
I do. Thank you, King Donna.
Thank you.
I love you so much.
You do love King Donna.
I love it.
I did say the words, so I guess they won this round.
Yeah.
I could cut them, but I guess I'm not gonna because King Donna loves it when I accidentally acknowledge them. You win this round. Thanks to Jeff Beef.
Jeff Beef.
I think I love Jeff Beef.
I think you do love Jeff
One
Beef.
word too.
Yeah.
That's the other. We never concentrate on that.
Jeff
Beef is.
Yeah.
It's like a race car going by.
You have to get to beef before you run out of breath. Jeff Beef.
Yeah, it's. I think I like what you're doing better than the name, but well done. Thank you.
It's called being a good actor, giving a good
What a
line
great act. Yeah,
reading.
just spitting those words right in my eye. Thanks to Brock Berkner. Oh,
Brock Berkner.
Speaking of actor, I've resisted emailing you about that about the class thing because you've been so swamped of late. But should I not be doing that? Should I be emailing you about it?
Let's
do business on the podcast. I decided.
Yes. Next month, my schedule clears up. So.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds like a deal's been struck.
Whee!
Okay. Thanks to Brock Berkner.
Thanks, Brock Berkner.
Who helped broke that deal that we just did.
Oh, wait.
Yes.
Whoa.
Brock Berkner, the broker.
Dang.
Well done.
It's a lot of alliteration.
I know. He's got a really clever name and a clever job for a clever guy. Thanks to Luke Andrew.
Thank you, Luke Andrew.
And finally, thanks to Broge. In Broge. Excellent film.
Excellent film.
Never come up here. It's actually
It
in Bruges.
hasn't. I know.
But
Bruges,
it will come up.
It will, I feel.
Yeah.
No.
Did you see the recent one? The Ghosts of Ishnarin or whatever it was? Loved that film.
Really?
I loved that film.
I feel like when
Absolutely
I was watching it.
No, Banshees of Ishnarin.
Banshees. Yeah.
Loved it.
I loved it. 75%.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that
Yeah,
someday.
yeah.
All right, well, we'll find a way. Find a way to shoehorn that into a conversation.
Oh, but I will say, 1,000% I love the performances in that film.
They were impeccable.
Impeccable.
They were impeccable film. Yeah.
Impeccable.
Loved them.
Colin Firth, me and actually Alice
So
talk about
good.
so good.
Yeah. Oh,
So
Alice was
good.
okay, cool.
Yeah, we were just bonding over, sometimes a hot guy, you're really on guard and it's like, but
well, I like that he takes all the wind out of that sail.
Yes.
Like he's a hot guy with no confidence.
No confidence.
And it's really sweet,
And it's
actually.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Just a sweet, yeah.
I agree. That's interesting that came from Alice. I don't want to be a jerk, but at some point, I'm hoping I cross paths with Alice again. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
No, I'm not trying to be,
You're not.
but I just really liked Alice.
I want to, yeah.
Thanks to Melissa.
Thanks, Melissa.
Thanks to Adam Under the Bridge.
Thanks, Adam Under the Bridge.
Thanks to Stephen Asarian.
Thank you, Stephen
Who
Asarian.
we have retained as an attorney. That's been the lore.
Oh, great.
And we owe him for our retainer.
You can't find me. Can't catch me.
Because we have created some legal problems.
Ooh, come get me.
He deserves a new story, but I really like him as an attorney so
I do
much.
too.
I don't know what's going to happen, Stephen. I think you might be forced into this,
Steve Asarian, attorney at law.
Yeah,
It
this
just
might be,
rolls off the tongue.
you might have been wedged into this. Yeah.
Sorry.
That is what it is. But also, not a bad life. Could have made you a coal miner.
I mean,
harder life, objectively.
Yeah.
Objectively harder life. Thanks to Nicholas Fabian.
Thank you, Nicholas Fabian.
Yep. And finally, Maggie's favorite.
This maybe?
Yeah.
Part sandwich with a PH.
Yeah. You like that.
I like.
You don't mind a lowbrow.
I don't, except when it's in a movie called Dreamcatcher.
Boy, oh boy, oh
Wow,
boy.
it just comes out of nowhere.
Boy, oh boy. Well, you're getting ahead of us.
Yeah, I am.
I do. So, like, that's another thing. Is like recently, I've been thinking, like, do I think fart jokes are funny at all anymore?
Right.
And I realized I kind of still think they're funny when they are just hurled in my face and I didn't expect it.
Like The Lighthouse. That works.
Dude. Home run.
Okay. Home run.
We should be videoing this podcast because we both have funny arm gestures. But we're not. So people aren't getting the full effect of it. That's okay.
They can use their imagination.
They can. We both just did Gumby arms.
We're flailing our arms all around.
Yeah. Anyway, let's transition into we've dicked around enough. I agree.
I think so.
Let's transition into the actual topic today. It's only been 29 minutes.
Woo!
So the topic today is your fever dream movie. Fever dream movie. Now, I want to acknowledge right up top. What is that? Are you smelling your finger?
I feel like I'm about to sneeze.
I want to watch this happen because what you're doing looks like something they would have taught you at like finishing school.
Yeah. Nostril.
When you're about to exfoliate your nose, hold one index finger underneath the nostril and point head away.
Okay, it disappeared.
Like it looked like somebody was taking a photograph of how a woman stops from sneezing from 1940. It's incredible. All right.
Okay,
so,
we're back.
Yeah, I guess. It was a real screw around episode. Have you noticed that? Anyway, so fever dreams. I just want everyone to know, if you couldn't feel it already, total Maggie topic. This is such a Maggie topic.
This,
yes, you did. Yes, you did.
I did.
You always pick the one, and I think it's partly because you are pushing it to be movies more than I am.
Oh, maybe.
I'm coming up with album stuff more because I want to talk about music because that doesn't happen on this channel much. But I also thought this was a really good topic, like objectively good. So do you want to start with yours or mine? I think it's your choice this time.
Is it really my choice?
I think it is.
Okay, wow. Let's start with Enter the Void. Let's start there.
I don't know why you're doing that, but okay.
I mean, I feel like I want the catharsis of ending with
Dreamcatcher. Yeah, those are the two. So Maggie's pick was Dreamcatcher, the 2003 Stephen King adaptation. And mine was the 2009 Enter the Void by Gaspar Noé. Yeah, which I just finished watching for the second time minutes before Maggie crossed the threshold today.
Yeah. There was like an atmosphere in here when I came in.
I was kind of angry. I got to be honest with you. I was not happy. It's like I did not enjoy this. Anyway, Enter the Void. I think if ever there's been a movie on this podcast that needs a trigger warning, I think this is the one.
Oh, sure.
I do think people, if you haven't seen it, because likely you haven't.
Yeah.
This is a movie that contains extraordinarily violent images.
Yeah.
Including an abortion.
Yeah.
Which is a spoiler, but also I think you just need to know that. Right. They show an abortion.
Yeah.
And they show a lot of sex, and it's not sexy.
Not the fun kinds, yeah.
It's not rape.
Right.
Which he has done that.
Yes.
Irreversible, his previous film, had a 9-minute real-time rape scene, and it was horrendous. Like horrifying. I can't recommend it to anybody. Yeah. Although I like that film. I can't recommend it for that scene.
Yeah.
This is not grotesque like that, but it's a lot of sex, and it's very... it's gratuitous. Yeah. It's not shown in a flattering way.
It wants to evoke a grimy, slimy bowels of the...
This is an edgelord film if ever there was one.
Yeah.
A complete edgelord film. Yeah. So I just want anybody who wants to watch it and figure out what it's about and process what we say about it. I don't want you to walk in and not know what you're getting into.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's an experimental film.
Have a bad time.
It's not fun. Yeah. It's not a fun film to watch.
And it's not supposed. I mean,
it's not supposed to be fun. No.
Right.
It's not supposed to be fun. I don't think he thinks it's supposed to be fun either.
No.
Okay, because I feel like I might dominate this too much. I kind of want to see what your summary of this is. Do you want to summarize the film?
Yeah. I feel like, I guess the easiest summary is to say a man who we start the film. We're mostly what is the name of that shot? We're like behind him, he's in front of us.
Well, so it's point of view for about a third of the movie.
Yes.
It's literally like literal point of view.
And
then it's an over the shoulder for about 2/3 of the movie after that. And then before getting back into point of view.
Right. Yeah. And at some point, he dies. His body floats above himself, and then we watch more of it from the floaty
that sound and hand gesture is that we retain the point of view, but watch from overhead, like we're a spirit floating above the events.
Yeah. Right. And the events, I think, just follow as you described earlier. Kind of just a series of edgelord events that do take place, sure, but I think that's my summary.
Okay, wow. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
That plus a whole lot of atmosphere, I guess.
Yeah, so I'm going to add to that if that's okay. So one thing to know is the film does tell you everything that's going to happen in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Basically every line of dialogue that happens before the main character is killed tells you every piece of what you're about to watch. And what you're going to watch is of an idea of what death is, what death and rebirth is. And it's about a brother and his sister. We're in the point of view of this brother's name is Oscar. He's a drug dealer. They live in Tokyo.
Oscar is such a great name for a drug dealer. Because
you always think of the Grouch. You think of him in a trash can. Yeah. He lives in a grimy, apartment building in Tokyo. He goes to a drug deal that goes wrong. The police come in. He tries to flush the drugs. He gets killed. We watch the murder in real time. We watch him die, and then the camera floats above all the events that play out as a result of that death, including we go through flashbacks of his life and what happened. We see his relationship with his sister, what that was about. We see what happens to everybody involved in the drug deal. And then ultimately our character is reborn at the end of the film. That's what happens. It's not the experience, but it's what happens.
That's a good summary of the technical plot.
There is a plot to it. It's not without plot. It's about 2 hours and 40 minutes. It could have been about an hour or 40 minutes, I would say, without losing content.
Oh, sure. I think he wanted to extend it just to extend the feeling of it all.
Did you know that this played at Cannes as a rough cut? Yes. Now, it's not uncommon for Cannes to take rough cuts.
Right.
That happens.
Yeah.
This film played it as a rough cut at Cannes in 2009 and wasn't actually released till a year later.
Wow.
Always shorter. Every version was shorter than the one that played at Cannes.
How long was the one at Cannes?
I don't know, man.
Just hours and hours.
Who even knows? Right, who even knows? Cannes, this is made for them. This is made for them.
Yeah.
Also, Gaspar Noé is a French filmmaker. He's Argentine, but I think he's also French at this point. That's where he resides and stuff. So, okay, so we've set up some of it. Do you like it? Is it fun at all to you? Like, is there anything about it that has redeeming value in your mind?
I mean, I'm always of the mind I'd rather a movie exist than not exist.
I am not of that mind.
You're not of that mind. So in that regard, I'm glad that he got to make the movie that he wanted to make. I did not enjoy it. But
this movie deserves to exist for artistic reasons.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, and all like the boundary it pushes, and I'm not against having a film that is that feeling and is edgelordy and I mean, I'm not even really nihilistic getaway, but like feels nihilistic throughout most of it.
Oh, this is a very nihilistic film.
Yeah.
This is not a man who is curious about spiritual anything.
Yes.
Doesn't believe in spiritual anything.
Yeah, that's definitely the weirdest part, but that's also part of the purpose of it. So I would never want to like change that because that is very like core to the movie. But did I enjoy it? No.
Yeah.
No.
So some interesting byproducts of it. So like, there's a really incestuous vibe going on between the brother and sister.
Yeah.
And when that's not me reading into it.
No,
there are several times, not once, several times where the spirit of the film, like the POV, jumps into the point of view of a person having sex with the sister. That's like, well, if you were an actual disembodied brother, this isn't what you'd spend your time doing. I wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, right.
Now, and the filmmaker seems to want to justify that or maybe round that out with some context that the brother and sister, so Linda's her name and Oscar is the name of the brother. So I'll stop calling him that. Oscar and Linda lost their parents when they were children in a car accident. Now we relive that car accident about 4 times too. And it's the first time it was shocking. Just like, whoa. And then every other time it remained shocking, but also like, man, I get it. I get it, dude. Like the last time we see it, he just sits in the car for a good minute with the kids crying on the footage we've seen. And it's like, I get it. It's sad. Like it sucks.
And I'm sure if that happened, I'm sure they would think about it all the time. But
it's a movie. I get it. You can yada it, but he doesn't want to yada literally anything.
Nah.
Yeah, that's what's interesting about him is he doesn't edit anything out, I don't think. Like he thinks everything that you would maybe think of seeing or that they see is important to watch. And that's interesting to me.
It is.
Though I don't like it.
Yeah. To me, in a very different way, I feel like when we watched Weekend by Jean-Luc Godard, speaking of a French filmmaker.
That was equally difficult to get your head around.
Although I feel like Jean-Luc Godard is more like, like antagonist. Yeah.
He's
or
playful.
even, right. Whereas like this, I felt, it was more like, no, we're going to sit here. Unless like, we're going to sit here.
I think this is actually cruel. I think Godard wants to poke fun and trivialize things.
Yeah.
I think Gaspar Noé is cruel. I think he wants to talk about cruelty, and I think he also wants to wash cruelty with kindness and make them indistinguishable.
Right.
He kind of actually he wants to make sex and birth and death indistinguishable.
Yeah.
In this movie,
yeah,
he's really trying to do that.
Right.
Like
there's like I know we used to call orgasms the little death, but
that's what this movie predicates.
Yeah, it predicates that.
Yeah.
Which, like for some people, I guess sure.
I mean, it's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
Like it feels like you're watching an existentialist paper written out into images almost.
Yeah.
Like if an existentialist was describing their version of Buddhism and then set it to images, that's what this would be. Right?
Their version of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Their version of it. Correct.
It's very specific. Yeah.
Their version of it. Right. Like the Tibetan Book of Death, which is sort of the spine of what happens in the film, is more explained to us than shown.
Yeah.
I don't know what tradition that comes from, but it doesn't feel like it's very distinguishable from Buddhism as I understand it. Now, that might be my ignorance, and forgive me if it is. But that's kind of what's happening here is, a spirit who has not yet been reincarnated, sort of drifting through life until finally they can reincarnate by having sex with their sister.
Right. Doing I can't help but read into it like, oh, you wanted to do that when you were alive or maybe did. And then this is what you're doing your last like moments floating around on Earth. Or do you even have a choice?
Do you think they had sex in their life? Like, do you think the brother and sister had sex before he died?
I mean, I would think that the filmmaker would think that they did just because I think he is interested in like that.
100% he's interested in it.
Yeah.
There's a scene in it where she is literally licking his ear when they get reunited. That was like, what world are we in right now?
Yeah.
I'm not even necessarily like, I'm not trying to moralize about it. I'm more trying to like, what are we saying right now?
Right.
What exactly do you want us to think about this?
Right.
And I don't know the answer to that.
I don't know either. Yeah. This time when I watched it, I had the feeling of like, no matter what type of person you were, you will be dead and in this version reincarnate, it's like, I don't know.
Well, that's interesting that there's absolutely no morality in the film at all.
Yeah, none whatsoever.
There's no morality.
No.
There's actually only one thing that's treated with any kind of moral impetus, and it's the fact that Oscar, who deals drugs, had sex with one of his user/friend's mother, which prompted the friend to then betray him, call the cops, which ended up killing him.
Yeah.
That is the one thing that has some moral power in the film. The rest of it really doesn't.
Right.
It's treated from the point of view of the camera, which is just sort of looking down on it all. And I wonder why.
I know.
Isn't that weird?
It's so weird. Watching it reminded me a lot of because we had just talked about Clockwork Orange, which is also interested in cruelty and things. And just like very different feels, like us discussing Clockwork Orange. There's a very like clear point of view in it.
It's making a statement.
Yeah,
it's making several statements, but they're all clear.
They're very clear.
This is not making clear statements.
No,
I would argue. I know some people would be like, "You fool!" Like, and I read a few reviews to see what was being said.
Yeah, what is? I've
well,
never
it
read
ranges.
reviews.
There are people who are like, "This is unwatchable trash." And then there are people who are like, this is a provocateur masterpiece, that's about life and death, right? It came out the same year, I believe, as Tree of Life.
Oh, sure.
Which is a really interesting companion piece.
That is.
Because they're about the same thing.
Yeah, they are.
I've heard many of my film friends are like, Enter the Void's the good one. And I think it's not. I think that's not true. But some of it's point of view. This is the second time I watched it. How many times have you watched this?
Also second, but the first time I didn't remember much from it. Really.
I didn't either. I didn't remember any of it from the first time, except for that he died.
Yeah.
And that we watch his life. That's literally all I remembered, which I think tells you how difficult it is to grasp what the film's about.
Yeah.
Like I didn't retain any of it. And actually it is kind of clear what happens.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Like I said, they tell you in the beginning. So it's like, you know.
Yeah, it's not like it's hard to retain the facts of it. It's just hard to care about it all.
Yeah.
Like, actually, that's what's interesting. This movie doesn't have a protagonist.
Nah.
Like at all.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a protagonist.
No.
Nobody wants anything. Nobody tries to do anything.
No.
Like it's all just observed.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen a movie like that without a protagonist. So that's kind of interesting.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
There's a movie that I feel like get close to that, but never full.
They never subtract the protagonist entirely from the film.
No, not at all. No.
You know, if you want to see this, some things that I think are cool about it that are worth acknowledging, and then maybe we can move on. I don't know. Some things that are cool about it. I think that though they are long, all the drug renderings are really interesting. Like the character takes DMT up top.
Yeah.
And I'm not a drug person myself. I've never taken a hallucinogenic drug. But everything that I've seen and heard and read about them, I think he captured it here. You know, like he seems to have really captured it. And he's captured it in a way that does merge the experience of taking drugs with the body and how the body works, like cells and blood, and like in a way that's actually very interesting and cool. And he does that in every way. He merges these spiritual things
with the body,
the body and material matter in a way that is very cool. I would say that part is cool. The lighting of it, of course, is amazing.
The lighting is amazing.
It's all party lighting the whole time.
Yeah, it's very the whole time. Yeah.
It's like you're in a world that was made out of a club.
Yeah.
Made at a dance club. And it's consistent and it's really well done. The camera work is one of a kind. You'll never see another movie like this.
Yeah.
Never. You will never see another movie like this.
You'll see other people, I don't like use copying it, but you'll see other people
Not
lifting
really.
from it.
Not like this. This guy's so committed to throwing out the cinema playbook.
Yeah.
Just like, hey, you want coverage and stuff? Fuck that. Nothing gets covered in this movie.
That's why I say people will borrow from it, but you'll never see it.
No. I mean, Irreversible, his other film, right? He's made more films than that, but that's the one I think people remember. It came out in 2002. Also has insane camera work. And that camera work's a lot more difficult to watch because it's like physically vomit inducing a little bit.
Yeah.
This film is designed from a creative point of view, and he made really bold choices all the way through. And I gotta say, I think they all work.
Yeah.
Like I was never like, camera's doing a stupid thing right now.
Right. Or yes.
Everything
made like, it makes sense. You know, like
he is a sorcerer with the camera. He's doing things we've never seen. That's a really bold thing to say. Watch the film and you'll see what I mean. Like you've never seen a film like this. That's pretty cool. Beyond that though, it's right.
I mean, I'm tangential to the camera work. Anytime we're floating above the city or anything, that was really pretty. I was like,
it is really pretty.
Yeah.
Like he regularly drifts over rooms and stuff, like from room to room, and he cuts through time, and like he does awesome stuff.
Yeah,
stuff that every film student in the world immediately gets erect for. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like they're just like, whoa, this is incredible.
Yeah.
Like, and it is. It is incredible.
Right.
He's not an experimental filmmaker in the sense that he doesn't know how to make a cool image.
Yeah, right.
He absolutely knows how to make a cool image.
Yes.
He's very talented. But he's experimental because he's pushing the narrative and what we're looking at beyond what any of us would want to see, I think.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's my big objection to the film is that I don't want to see some of the stuff that he makes me look at.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's good that he made me look at it. Ultimately,
right. I don't feel enlightened when I watch this.
That's right.
Yeah.
I don't feel challenged or like, instead it feels like it feels like we're wallowing in stuff.
Right. That's interesting.
You know?
Because I think forcing someone to look at it, I think maybe from his perspective it would be challenging, but as the viewer, I did not.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work, and I don't.
I'll give you some examples. So there are multiple zoom ins to an aborted fetus.
Yeah.
None of them meant anything. Yeah. I would say they didn't feel like that meant much.
I think he just is like,
what's the worst thing I can do?
Right. What's the worst thing I can do?
Right.
Oh, and all my movies about life and death. So
I'm gonna whir into a dead fetus.
Yeah.
Then he's got the film ends with a series of sex scenes. Mm-hmm. They're all done in this very like. There's no glamour to it. It's all very like robotic in a way, and but also real. Like they felt more like real sex scenes than a lot of sex scenes do.
Yeah.
And it's all very voyeuristic because it's very like mirror cam, if you will. And then we end on, as I said, we're having sex with a sister. Okay. And then we cut to inside her body, in her vagina, looking at a penis thrusting at us. In a way that's like, I get it. I get how that's an idea. I get what the idea is. Why do I need it?
Yeah.
What does it say that I didn't get from inference?
Right.
And
that also feels like such a, like.
It's just repugnant,
Right. I, as a person who doesn't have a vagina, maybe he is like more interested in that. But it's like, if anyone that has one looks at it, it's like, why do we do what?
What's the artistic value of it is the question. I'm not censoring him. It's not that I think it's morally reprehensible. It's that I don't want to be there.
Yeah.
I don't feel the feelings of like, wow, that we're getting from it. Instead, what it seems to do is I just feel like I'm being poked at. And I mean that like physically and metaphorically. I feel like I'm being jabbed a little bit.
Yeah.
In a way that's like, I understand how sex works.
Yes.
I've seen it. I've been educated. I went to sex ed.
Paragraphs.
Yeah. I've seen other films that depicted the act.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm like, okay, I understand we've never had a camera here, maybe. But so? Like, what do we gain from it? I don't know. Like,
women have to have cameras shoved up there quite a few oftentimes.
So you may actually have a more visceral experience of that.
Yeah.
Actually.
Well, not even, almost like mundane in a way.
Interesting.
Because I'm like,
right. It actually is kind of mundane.
That's what it actually was weird. Because I was like, and?
Well, and then I'm not trying to be crass. This is literally what happens.
Yeah.
So then like the dick, there's literally semen shot at the camera.
Yeah.
And the semen, like a river, sort of forces the camera down the vaginal canal into then cut to a black void, obviously, like that's the metaphor. It just seems so heavy handed to me.
Yeah. And also like a kind of like weirdly fetishistic, like.
No, not a little. Yeah.
An ovary is not a black void. Like, man, hello. I don't know.
That's what he thinks.
I know.
Yeah.
And it's just like.
I see, like, I think a lot of other filmmakers have worse points of view than he does about stuff.
Sure, yeah.
Like, I don't feel it. I didn't feel like this was terrifically misogynistic per se.
I don't think so either. It was just more. I think what you were saying. It was just like. It didn't feel like he was doing that to be like the mystical womanhood that I don't understand. Yeah. But it was also like, it just felt really mundane and very much like, that's
what that would look like if you put a camera there.
That's the body parts that are there.
Right. Also, he does that shot again in his next film, which next film is extraordinarily graphic.
I didn't watch it.
It's called Love. And it's just about a threesome, and it goes on and on and on and on.
Wow.
And I say this because so the next shot's in it. I say this because he wants to do certain things. He wants to watch sex. That's what he wants to make films about.
Right.
Sometimes the narrative's not even that important. And this is one of those, like, there's a reason why there's a difference between pornography and what he's doing, because I don't think that he is trying to be erotic with his sex.
Right.
I think he's more interested in it, I guess, a little mechanically and sometimes emotionally.
The same way that, similar to how he depicted the drugs, although less fun.
I thought the drugs were more fun.
The drugs are more fun.
Way more fun.
That's the other thing.
And creative.
Yes, and creative.
Actually.
And people do enjoy sex.
The idea of the vaginas glowing in the last sex montage, like, was the first fusion of this drug and sex obsession,
right?
That felt like we were going somewhere with it.
Yeah,
you know, and we did
right.
go somewhere. Like, if somebody who's probably listening to this podcast who really likes the film is probably like very upset with us because we seem very, we seem like we don't get it. Like, I do think that if you mapped out all the images and what they mean, that you would say there's a lot of meaning here.
Right.
And the fact that it's unpleasant is how life is. And I would say I agree with that, which is why I said up top, this deserves to exist.
Right.
But, I mean, you know, I still come at movies as they should be entertaining. Even experimental films should be entertaining if they can be. They don't have to be, but they should be. This didn't do that. And I also think sometimes making a point doesn't make it, like, if I already would have intuited it from the rest of what you did, I don't need more of it because I get it already. Yeah. That's really it. It's like, it feels redundant. Yeah. You know? That's how I felt about it this time. Yeah. It's one of a kind. You'll never see in the movie like this. Yeah. Do you want to add anything else to that?
That's right.
Have we blacked out into the oblivion?
We're in the void. Yeah. We're up in the ovaries.
Yeah. Well, then let's move on to our next. Let's move on to our next film.
Planting ourselves into the vaginal wall.
I guess we're running down the river of semen.
That's why my science brain was on. I was just like, yeah.
It did. It almost felt like what you would think a Discovery Channel documentary would be if they were doing sex ed. Yes, it almost did feel like that.
Yes,
which does make sense for what he's doing because he's. It's almost like he's artistically rendering the process of death back to life. Right. You know, but then there's a few things like no, the incest is one of them.
Yeah,
the incest.
What does that do with death or life? Or I mean,
because this is some of my theory here on this, right? He goes to great pains to connect breastfeeding and sexuality, and birth and he's really trying to make those two things match up. Yes. Like there's a literal nipple montage, that is cutting from sexualized nipples to him as a baby nursing at his mother's. Breast.
Very Freudian. Thank you very much.
Well, that's what's weird about it is because he adds the incest in there, it feels also like, oh, so you wanted to have sex with your mother too. Right. That's what it doesn't cross the other way where it makes us think about, oh, look at these processes reduced to their obvious minimums. Right. It's like, no, I think you kind of want to have sex with your mom, bro. Right.
That's where the thing about this movie that it just like flipping from a very personal, specific experience versus then universal, but then back to this very specific experience, then back to commenting on universe.
Yeah, he switches what point of view he wants the movie to be from a lot. Never from camera, but from what the camera does. Yeah,
which I don't have a problem with, but those are two very different things. Like, does this guy want to fuck her mother, or is like life and death the same? Like,
right. And which thing are you trying to say? Right. Or is it both?
Or is it both? Or is it which one's more important to you? I don't know.
Yeah, it was really hard to delineate the statements, I think.
Yeah.
And I mean, I get it. Like that's art film.
Right.
But it would have been more fun for us, I think, if they had been delineated more clearly.
Right, because then I could be like, oh, that's this guy wants to fuck his mother. And also, have you thought about life and death? But it felt just like we were
just sort of drifting between ideas. Yeah. He also decided at some point that the French friend who like just felt like you know, if you had to cast Dirtbag, like what does that character look like? This guy is the guy you cast for that. He was fine, but then they decided, boy, we really need him and the sister to get together. That's the creme de la creme ending, and I'm like, no, didn't care for that. Didn't need it. That doesn't feel cathartic to me. Anyway, this was also Paz de la Huerta's biggest role for a while before Boardwalk Empire. Okay. I mention it because she was one of the big figures in Me Too.
That's right.
Early in the Me Too story, which happened a few years after this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting to see she didn't mention anything having to do with this film.
Right.
You know, and I guess what I'm getting at there is she is she has been abused, but this film didn't seem to be a place where she felt like she had been abused.
Yeah, no.
That's cool.
I mean, you can make a film like this and never have your actors feel, because it is, you're pretending. You know, there's a fakeness.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just thought
Which
that
is
was
cool.
I thought that bear mentioning.
Yeah. And freedom for all you wonderful directors out there to make weird art as long as the sets are
everyone's
safe.
agreed to it. Yeah,
exactly.
Everyone's agreed to it, and it's being done in a conscious way. Okay, are we ready to move on to Maggie's film, which at the very least is more entertaining.
Oh my God.
No arguing it is more entertaining.
Wow.
Do you want to thank a few producers first?
Yeah.
Just to keep them on their toes? Yeah, I believe we thanked your favorite last time, so we'll begin by yeah. So begin by thanking Nate.
Thank you, Nate.
Thanks to Adam Duncan.
Thank you, Adam Duncan.
Thanks to Brain and a slightly larger than average jar.
Wow, thank you, Brandon. A slightly larger.
What a wink of a name.
I know.
I keep liking it.
I know.
Great name. Thanks to
works.
Sarah Sexton.
Thank you, Sarah.
Just high five expert. Yeah, like she could teach classes on high fiving.
Oh, do you ever have just feel a perfect high five?
Yes.
Your hand just tingles
Yes,
in the
I
perfect
have.
way.
It like doesn't hurt, but it feels like something momentous occurred.
Yeah, like electric.
It was like a thunderclap when it. Have you ever been body gloved?
No.
Okay.
What's that?
Well, body glove used to be a style of shirt, probably before you were born, I'm guessing.
Probably.
And what you would do, it was basically a hand, like it was called body glove. It was a hand logo. What people would do is go body glove and then slap their friend very hard in the back in the shape of the body glove logo. That happened a lot when I was a kid.
Wow.
Sarah Sexton would also be good at that. Okay. Thanks to Timothy Schreiner.
Thank you, Timothy.
Thanks to Nikolai Glecker.
Nikolai Glecker.
Have we ever talked about how he manufactures guns?
No.
Glecker the Glock maker.
I was going to say. Yeah.
Glecker the Glock maker.
Checks out.
I also am just really into like puns today, I guess. Like verbal alliteration. Thanks to Aaron Signs.
Thank you, Aaron.
Signs?
Correct
I
us,
believe
please.
so. Yeah, sorry.
Shoot us
Please
an
forgive
email.
me. Yeah. Thanks to Cake Meister.
Thank you, Cake Meister.
Thanks to Jesse Clay.
Jesse Clay.
Samurai.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keeping the tradition alive.
Oh my goodness.
Right?
People walk across the earth to be trained by her, and she says no.
Yeah, but she's a Ronin. Or he.
Yeah.
He or
Yeah,
she's a Ronin.
yeah.
Has no master.
Has no master.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Also never bows.
No.
She crosses you in the street, you bow.
Yeah.
Or you're gone.
You're gone. You never see it again.
Okay, that's enough for now.
Great.
Do you want to set up for us 2003's Dreamcatcher?
You know, when I was watching this movie.
What a fucking movie.
What
a movie.
fucking.
I couldn't believe this.
Written by.
Yeah, man. I know.
I mean.
Wait, no. Say who it was written by. You texted me this with
I
outrage,
did.
and it was your pick,
It's
which
my
made me
pick.
thrilled. It was. Go ahead. I don't want to rob you of this.
No. I just want to make sure I got the names right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Lawrence Kasdan and William Goldman.
Lawrence Kasdan, who wrote a little-known film called Empire Strikes Back, and William Goldman, who wrote this film. They couldn't have written this. There's no way.
But
they wrote a draft
did.
somewhere. No.
I watched the behind the scenes because I had to.
Please inform me about the behind the scenes.
I got no answers. I only got more questions. There are interviews with the cast who seem to be laughing at the script. Half the actors are laughing at the script. The other actors are
During
taking
the
it
shooting?
very seriously. Yes, during the shooting.
Yeah.
During shooting.
Are Morgan Freeman's eyebrows in the script?
Oh, I mean, they must be.
They're their own characters. Dude, they are. They gave him like a military haircut and eyebrows that look like they could have been stretched up to his hairline. They're unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
They're unbelievable. I read an interview about the eyebrows because I needed to know. I was like, who did it? Somebody asked Morgan Freeman about it on the press tour. And he's like, every decision was considered.
Are they sure though? Because it certainly like any decision was considered.
I'm just saying
decisions.
it didn't happen by accident. That's what I'm saying.
This movie could only happen by accident.
It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
It's a gift to all of us.
It's a gift to all of us.
Wait, let's recap it first.
I'm going to recap it.
Thank you.
As best I can. I will say though, as I was watching it, I turned to Will and I was like, I can't recap this movie.
This movie defies comprehension. It rejects all forms of narrative analysis.
Yes.
Like we're gonna bounce off this movie like it's a trampoline every time we approach explaining it.
Yes, I will pull in the info that I discovered behind the scenes because it is the only pieces that I could add to help explain this movie. So it is based off of a Stephen King book called Dreamcatcher that Stephen King wrote when he was deep in his drug addiction.
Yeah, he said Oxycontin had a lot to do with it. He's written this movie and book off.
Yes. The
book he's written off.
Yes, the book.
That's astounding.
He does, yes. So I at one point, Steven Spielberg was attached to direct this. This is why Kathleen Kennedy is still the producer on it. I don't know. I don't know why. Stephen King himself said it was a terrible book.
Was everything that's in the movie in the book?
Okay, so here's what I found out.
Sorry, we're cheating. No, I'm going to come back to this question. Let's actually recap the movie.
I'll actually
recap the movie.
it.
Thank you.
Okay, it is about 4 friends who grew up in Derry, the Derry that we all know from the Stephen King universe. This magic little town, whatever, with all these like pixie little boys, I guess, growing up. Yeah. So it's about them reconnecting years later on this camping trip where they're out in the wilderness in the middle of a snowstorm.
Yep.
They have a friend that is not with them at this camp outing.
Yeah, weirdly not invited to the camp.
Weirdly not invited to the camp.
But lives nearby.
And we can only assume it is because this friend of theirs is developmentally disabled. And so they just exclude him for all the friend events.
Just seems like maybe be a bummer. Like that might be it. So in their defense, we find out about in Act 3 that he has cancer.
Yes.
So maybe he's too sick and we never see that conversation.
And is also an alien. I'm skipping ahead, but he's also an alien. So
Maggie, what are you doing, bro?
Describing it is the feeling watching it.
I've decided that I'm going to keep the line from Top Gun, "You're too loose, Cougar," for all podcasts because I love that line so much. And we need it for podcasts. You're a little too loose, Cougar. You need to go order, like in the order of events.
Okay, so they show up at their cabin.
Yeah.
Everything goes off without a hitch. The opening of every character, though,
it's a little montage.
Yeah, there's a little montage. We are introduced to each of the boys, and they all have a little like premonition. And the camera zooms in, and he goes, "I don't know how I know that." And then it cuts to the next character.
They seem to know that they have telepathic powers.
Yes.
And we find out they've had this since they were children.
Yes.
They have
given to them by their friend that they
psychic powers,
don't
basically
invite to the parties. Yes.
Yeah. Did it actually make it clear that he gave them to him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alien gifts from Alien Boy. Yeah.
When did we know that for sure? When did we find that out?
Not all the way until like the very end. There was a flashback for no reason because we've already seen multiple flashbacks.
Yeah.
Where suddenly they're explaining like, wow, ever since that day with Duddits, we've had this telecommunication power.
Okay.
Thanks, Duddits.
Okay.
We'll never invite you to any social event ever again.
I love that you're harping on that.
I know.
It's a great thing to, yeah.
This is the 3rd time I've seen this movie, so.
Why have you seen it more than, what? I don't know what you're doing, man. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know.
When I am presented with something this bizarre,
you're drawn to this.
How can you
you're
not look
to
away? It's like finding a new planet.
I need to come back to you.
Yeah.
We need to come back to this question matters more than anything else in the podcast.
Yeah.
So I want to come back to it later.
We're coming back.
All right.
Okay. So
they're at this cabin.
Yeah, they're at this cabin. We've established that there's maybe something's a little magic. It's little magic boys.
Yeah, they're magic boys. That's right.
Someone knocks on their door. I forgot how the old guy gets there, and he's got these stomach pains.
It seems like they're all sort of. Like there's actually some time lapsing here.
Yeah.
So like first we meet
them. There's time lapse and time jumps. And
right. Yes. Yeah. It's hard to know when we are for a while in this film. There's an accident that seems like it should have killed Damian Lewis's character.
Oh my God. Yes.
Right up top.
Yes. He gets Like
he gets annihilated by a car.
Annihilated by the car. Cut to next scene. He's just having a normal conversation
with some hip problems
with his friend, and he's just like, well, you know that I had that accident
6 months ago.
6 months ago, and your brain is already misfiring.
You're already having some trouble. Yeah. So then they sort of discuss the idea that they're kind of forgetting things because they're memory castles. Which turns out to be a place where you can be imprisoned.
Where they and again, not to cut ahead, but they depict the memory castle as if the actor is walking around a library.
It's like an old office full of boxes. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's a place that they end up being stuck in later in the film.
Yes.
When the film decides that it wants to make a golem out of this character. So we're going to come back to that. Do you mind? Can I help you?
It's impossible.
Can I help you?
Please.
I'm sorry. Forgive me.
No.
I'm just trying to get this done.
So
we've been an hour and 15 minutes into this podcast and we haven't summarized it.
The old man shows up to the cabin, complaining of stomach pains. I'm trying to get to the aliens because that is the next what the fuck plot point. So this man shows up to the cabin. He's got stomach pains, and all these guys are like, "Yeah, come on in,
hang out,
bro." And this guy starts just farting.
And they're laughing about it, but also apparently it's pretty gnarly. Like apparently the man ate a skunk or something.
The movie hasn't decided whether this is funny or
whether it's like you have a medical problem,
yes.
sir. And I think we end up settling on medical problem. We end up settling on funny medical problem, right?
Yeah.
So then eventually, I mean, what we haven't said yet is this is on a separate trip to the cabin where. Hold on. Where a year has passed between trips. So I need to get my shit together. I'm not cutting this. I don't give a shit.
No.
So a year has passed between trips when Damian Lewis got his legs blown off by a car. And so they're all trying to get back to this.
Again, no Dunnets. Dunnets is still left behind.
God, I didn't think I'd laugh so hard at this movie. They're trying to get back to the cabin, so they've split into teams where they're both trying to get back to it.
Yeah.
One team gets Farter McDead Boy. The other team intercepts another sick woman who's dead in the ice for no reason. She's like she's planted there like she's a nail in the ground.
Yes.
They run into her, derailing getting their car thrown off. They have a car accident, basically.
Yeah, another one.
Separate car accident. Thank you. So
there's a lot of action in this.
Now we're intercutting between these two sequences, and the farter basically gives shit birth to an alien.
He shits an alien out of his stomach.
The alien is a poop snake.
And it is snake. They are like worm, stomach worm.
The alien has an insane mouth, like just a horrifying mouth, vagina mouth,
like
vagina mouth with teeth.
With teeth.
It's literally a toothed vagina on a poop. That's what this thing is. That is what it is.
And it's the color of poop. They could have made it.
They didn't even try to obfuscate it. Could have made it yellow. Could have done anything. They didn't do any of that. They could have made it white. It blends it with snow. Why not?
Yeah.
Didn't do that. No, man. It came from where it came from. Yeah. So anyway, so this poop snake kills Jason Lee, and we're all kind of sad because he was the funniest part of the movie.
Act one of the main characters is dead. One of the dairy boys.
Yeah.
Just annihilated.
And then it basically. I don't remember exactly how, but it takes over Damian Lewis's character. Yeah. And Damian Lewis becomes the worst golem you've ever seen in your life. He's switching between people. So the snake has a personality. Yes. He's switching between people. He gets trapped in his mind palace.
Yes.
And
him, the American boy from Derry, is trapped in the Mind Palace. Him, the proper British Englishman.
Why is it English? Why is a British poop snake?
Okay, so one of the explanations from Lawrence Kasdan is, we wanted to make it, just pure performance. When he is. The one character versus when he
said pure performance?
Pure performance.
What?
What?
Dude, this guy made it. Like, this guy wrote Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yes.
Like, I don't understand, man.
I don't think
This doesn't make sense. Like, I want you to, like, can we just briefly, I guess, take a time out from this?
Okay, time out. I was going to say, we haven't even gotten to the 9/11 subtext yet.
Oh my God, man.
We haven't even gotten to Morgan Freeman's eyebrows.
This is going to be a 2-hour podcast. I don't know what we're going to do.
I don't care. It's Dreamcatcher.
I don't know what we're going to do.
It needs to be examined.
So I need you to hear the list of movies this guy's made.
Yes.
You can't believe it. The director and writer of this movie made, I mean, some real bangers. Like,
most of his career.
Most of his movies. I'm gonna bring him up while you continue recapping.
Okay, good. Okay, so what Adam was leading to next is that after we have a split personality golem alien man,
Damian Lewis has the most impossible job in the world. How can you act like?
How can you?
They clearly were inspired by Gollum, and I'm not saying that like that's clearly what this is.
Yes.
They did a much worse job.
It doesn't even read.
Orders of magnitude worse.
Yes.
Anyway, this is the director of Body Heat. Great film.
Great film.
Big Chill. Great film.
Oh my God.
Silverado. Pretty good. Yeah. Accidental Tourist. Pretty good. I Love You to Death, Grand Canyon, the Wyatt Earp film, you know, French Kiss, Mumford. Okay. Those are, a lot of those are pretty good films. And then Dreamcatcher, and he didn't make a film for like 10 years after that. I think he really took a long break. He took a long break.
William Goldman also, Princess Bride.
William Goldman is actually the biggest star in this. Yeah, man.
Yes.
Yeah. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Ever heard of it? Yeah, man. It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
Okay, maybe we don't need to recap the whole thing. I don't know. What are we going to do here?
All to say is that I just want to add, and eventually the fourth what the fuck moment is that the American government knows obviously that this is all going on.
Right.
They know about the aliens. It's old news. The shit aliens, they've known about them for years.
Right.
It's a whole Men in Black situation.
Mostly not worried about it because most people are not affected by the alien.
Right.
Is a theory that's posited by Tom Sizemore's character.
Yes. Yeah.
But he says it to Morgan Freeman's character, whose name is Colonel Curtis.
Yeah.
But it's clearly Colonel Kurtz.
Yes.
Like he's clearly Apocalypse Now.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
Heart of Darkness. Like, right. That's what we're doing here. He's an unhinged maniac.
Says, though, there's no subtext. He is like, some people think that we should care about consequences. I'm not one of those people.
Right.
And he like drops a bunch of bombs.
He may as well have said like, you've come here like an errand boy with a Glosha click. Like, you know what I mean? Like he may as well have said all that.
Right.
It's really bad.
It's so bad.
It's really bad. He ends up, I think we can skip to this part.
Yeah.
He ends up piloting a helicopter and trying to destroy them with missiles from that helicopter.
From a helicopter.
And getting rocket launched to death.
Yep.
It's unbelievable.
But turns out, twist. The poop alien, he's only afraid of one man. And that's their friend that they keep leaving behind
who
for
happens
all these
to live
vacations.
nearby.
Who happens to live
dying
nearby.
Dying
of cancer that they haven't talked to or seen in a while or have talked to.
They might have, but there's so much time lapsing. Who can tell when anything happened?
Who can tell? So anyways, he
ends up showing up. They think that he dies when the monster metamorphosizes into...
Played by Donnie Wahlberg, by the way.
Okay, great. Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
That is who that is. Right. Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't... Okay, interesting. Yep. So,
there's a behind the scenes where he breaks character.
The poop alien metamorphosizes into a larger creature that feels like a really bad Mars Attacks kind of creature or something.
Yeah.
Or like something from Men in Black, I want to say.
Yes.
Yeah. And tries to kill Duddit, which is the name of this mentally challenged figure who gave them telepathic powers, but only to reveal he's a different kind of alien that's a good alien.
Yeah.
And they have a fight to the death where Icarus explodes the bad alien.
Yeah.
And that's how the movie ends.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, is there more?
No, that is it.
Yeah, Jason Lee remains dead, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dead in the first...
I was really hoping we were going to get some mall rats out of him. I was really hoping for that.
He's the one that, in behind-the-scenes interview, he is barely holding back a smirk.
That's who he is.
I know.
But yeah.
But also, I
loved him in this movie because I was like, actually, he might be the only one that's in the right movie.
I was like, yes. Yes. He got it. No one else. The director.
I think he was in a Kevin Smith movie and it completely made sense.
Yeah.
No one else was.
No one else was.
He also did not feel like he would be friends with any of those guys.
I know.
It's like, no, I don't think Timothy Oliphant and Damian Lewis would be pals with Jason Lee. I don't see that.
No.
I'm sorry it took us 15 minutes to recap this film. It's so funny. It's so funny. It's also trigger warning, very ableist. It is. That's true. So and Stephen King has had trouble with that in the past. I think this is a worst example I have maybe ever seen. I can't believe anyone ever said, "Let's do this movie."
Yes, I know. What is it offering?
You can't believe it. You can't believe it. Yeah. It blows your mind.
It blows your mind. It is a mind-blowing film. And for that, it is a roller coaster of a time.
Like, I got to tell you, bad movies make me frustrated most of the time. I don't like watching them.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I want to make movies. I don't like this. This makes me mad. This movie was so bad, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
And it actually stopped me from not watching it. Normally, I don't watch it. I just kind of I'm on the computer. Sure.
Yeah.
This movie was so bad, I had to watch it. It was like I couldn't stop looking at it. I was like, what is happening, man? Like, I'm talking about Dave and I have watched trash. True,
you are no
trash.
stranger to.
This is more incoherent than anything I've ever seen, and I've watched all the Blood Rains, man.
Wow.
This was more incoherent than that.
Yes.
Yeah,
made
more
by,
incoherent.
Certifiable titans of their field. And I guess it was bad enough that it stopped one of their careers for...
He's still making stuff.
Yeah.
When William Goldman has passed on, sadly, but I can't believe it. I can't figure out how or why or
And the thing about this is also, I don't know if you remember how you worked at a video store. I remember seeing the case of this for just years.
Yeah.
And I never picked it up because also I wasn't into horror movies, and it just the cover was like, oh, Stephen King. This is just a creepy dream
Another
movie.
King flick. Yeah.
It's none of that.
Not all this stuff adapts, man. I think Hollywood's kind of finally figured that out.
Yeah. But why
this might have been the clue.
This?
Well, because everything he made he shit gold for so long.
Yeah, that's true.
And even his weird offbeat stuff.
Yeah.
It was like Shawshank Redemption's an offbeat story of his. Green Mile is an offbeat story of his.
Yeah.
He just was, he was gold, certified Hollywood gold. I think this movie disabuses that notion.
Again, in the behind the scenes, Lawrence Kasdan said that William Goldman had done a draft, and Lawrence Kasdan did the second draft and added back in some things that were in the book that William Goldman didn't think that there was enough time or space for. And
he was right.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were.
God.
He was right.
There's 5 movies in this movie. And none of them are.
It's 3 conflicts at least. There's the conflict between the friends that we never really resolve.
No.
There's the alien story.
Yes.
And then there's
but they just blow up, and that's the end of that.
And then there's and it sort of intersects.
Right.
There's the mind palace being trapped thing.
Right.
That's a whole separate horror movie.
Which seem they differentiate that from into your friend group.
Plus there's the military conflict.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's wild, man. It's wild. It's really wild. I feel like I almost kind of wish that Dave and I had gotten a hold of this and done a whole series on it. It's that bad.
I can't believe that people aren't talking about this movie all of the time. It defies everything that someone needs a recognizable thing to be in a movie.
So Maggie and I have been busy enough in the last month or two that we don't have quite as much I'll text and we'll get into a chat. This movie got us all the way back to that.
Oh my God.
And it on 2 separate occasions. I was texting you what is this, Maggie? And she was responding. And then a few days later,
I was like, Dreamcatcher.
Oh my God, Dreamcatcher, bro. Yeah. Dude. It's something.
Fever dream. That's what I was like.
You nailed it. It really, because again, I've had fever dreams. Have you ever had a fever dream? You ever been sick and had a dream and remembered it?
I remember most of my dreams, but
Okay.
I'm sure I've had bananas dreams like this. Yeah.
Like where there is a kind of logic to it, but man, and it's very vivid and like very distressed.
Yes, and very like high stakes. Like stakes up here. Yeah.
This really captures that. I only wish it was intentional.
I know.
I think Enter the Void does too, but but more accurately, Dreamcatcher does.
It's really
It's wild.
It's.
I think we just got to thank some producers, man. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll end it like the movie does and just
just
peace
stop.
out. Just stop.
just stop
and
doing
oh my
it.
God, like the scene like the credits start rolling and then it cuts back to them like like goofing off in the cabin.
Right. It's like, this wasn't weird or not fun. Yeah. What happened? Do you understand?
What?
Like, wait a minute. Jason Lee died by poop demon. Like, what happened here?
He died. If it had been self-aware, probably the best movie ever.
Yeah, none of the self-aware ones ever do that well, though, man.
No.
They never do it. Anyway, thanks to Sean Bibinet.
Sean Bibinet.
Thanks to Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks to Joel Harper.
Thank you, Joel.
Sea Captain.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Thanks to Garrett Cooper.
Thank you, Garrett.
Thanks to Benjamin Egan.
Thanks, Benjamin.
I always think of, like, for whatever reason with Benjamin Egan, I think of him as like working at a wand store or something. Like, I think of him like the wand guy from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Like, not specifically that franchise.
Right.
I understand he doesn't truck. He doesn't truck with Harry Potter anymore.
Right.
But you know,
he'll pass out sticks.
Yeah, he's passing out sticks at a store. Buy a stick from
Selling them
Benjamin
for
Egan. Why not?
Upwards of $20.
At least. Thanks to Christopher Quattroche, the assistant at the stick store.
Ah, yes, it is.
You can't run a stick store by yourself.
We'll ring you out.
We'll find you that fine cedar, sir. Christopher Quattroche, I don't know.
Give them pine.
We're out of cedar, Mr. Egan. Thanks to Christina Ruiz, a.k.a. Breezy.
Thank you, Breezy.
Thanks to Kyle Schrotel.
Thank you, Kyle.
I don't know why, but I feel like in my brain, the image of him making hammers. I don't know why.
That's funny.
I don't even know how hammers get made.
With another hammer.
Oh my God. It's like hammer inception.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to have a hammer.
How did the first hammer get made? Nobody knows.
No one knows.
It's like yeast in a dough. You know what I mean? Or like sourdough.
Exactly.
Like the starter hammer. There is no starter hammer. Anyway, that's what he's doing in this bit. Thanks to Faye in a way.
Thanks, Faye.
Thanks to Daniel Christensen.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you to Taylor Carriage.
Thank you, Taylor.
Pilot.
Ooh.
Piloting that helicopter. After Morgan Freeman died, they
That'd
needed
be
a new one.
Ride, yeah.
They needed a new one. She's missiled a colleague to death from a helicopter.
An alien colleague.
Yeah,
so
an alien colleague. Yeah.
They're asking
the
for
good
it.
ones. Yeah, that's right. Thanks to Adamantanium Jello.
Thank you, Adam.
And thank you to Maggie's second favorite.
Hey, rough.
You love him.
Yeah.
You love him so much.
A great name.
It's an incredible name.
Yeah.
Like, you can't fix it.
No.
I can't even come up with a story for it. Yeah, exactly. I can't even come up with a story for it. It's like, bro, your name is a fount of stories.
Live long and prosper.
It's all stories.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Your name is like, the Pandora's box of narrative. Anyway.
Well, what a fever dream of a podcast this was.
Yeah, I'm really sorry to all of you who had to listen to us not tell the story for 10 minutes.
I'm really happy that you were all given the gift. That is
Dreamcatcher's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Like, we really couldn't do it. Like,
No.
we really failed to. We did a bad job today.
Yeah.
We did a bad job.
As did Dreamcatcher.
Yeah. Like normally we could like get our hands around it, man. That thing slipped out of our hands like an alien turd.
It ripped out our soul. Yeah.
Slipped right out of our hands.
We both cried a little bit.
We were crying. We were like laughing so hard. We never do that.
No.
We're usually professionals. Anyway, we don't deserve this podcast. We don't deserve it. But if you liked it, you're in the right place. Hey, feel free to show up to the Show Me tier and we'll be better next time. And if you really liked it, keep your eyes peeled because we're going to do more fever dream inducing films from one of our favorite experimental filmmakers. We can call him that, right?
Yeah.
David Lynch.
Absolutely.
In a podcast coming to an internet near you.
You'll love it.
Keep your eyes peeled for the sounds. Look for the sounds.
Look for the sounds.
Okay, bye.
This has been a Small Beans endeavor. We're a bunch of pals who make podcasts, sketches, music, web series, and movies. The Beans always have new ideas percolating, so make sure to check us out at patreon.com/smallbeans. That's patreon.com/smallbeans, where you can browse all of our current and past content, see what we've got planned in the future, and learn how your support can help the small beans grow into huge, giant monster beans. If you enjoyed this content module, please like, rate, subscribe, or tell a friend about us. We love you!